Protesters in South Africa have been saying, "Makwerekwere abahambe." Makwerekwere is a derogatory term for foreigners. Abahambe means let them leave. Anti-migrant groups blame undocumented foreigners for problems in the country.
We are tired of the illegal immigrants.
In recent weeks, South Africa has seen a new wave of anti-immigrant protests, which have sometimes turned violent. Some critics say foreigners, particularly those from other African countries, are being wrongly blamed for the country's economic problems.
Anti-immigrant groups accuse migrants from other African countries of driving up crime. They say many of the migrants are in South Africa illegally. Anti-immigrant protests like the one organised by Operation Dudula and March are becoming more widespread and ever louder. And as the South African economy struggles with unemployment at around 30%, they say that migrants are adding to the country's problems.
Shut up and listen to what I'm saying, because you don't know why I'm here.
These South Africans tell foreigners from other African countries to leave.
Because I can't take that nonsense.
After waves of anti-immigrant protests, some foreign nationals are sleeping on pavements in the port city of Durban.
We don't have again homes where we can live because they are kicking us out of the houses. Now where to go? That's the question. It's a psychological genocide, physical genocide. They're destroying our business.
Anti-migrant groups insist they are not targeting foreign nationals who are legally in the country. There's a reason why people sleep here. Police officers are just across the road. Families, mainly women and children, say there's safety in numbers, and they are just outside the Home Affairs Department, a government office that's always guarded. Basically, they say there's better security here.
Buses stand ready to drive the migrants and all their belongings to the airport for repatriation flights organised by Ghanaian authorities. The Ghanaian High Commissioner says hundreds more want to leave and that the government plans to help them reintegrate into Ghanaian society.
Some foreigners say they have nowhere else to go.
I felt like South Africa is a country where you welcome people with open hands, but at the end of the day, I don't really know what to say about this country and to say I'm really disappointed and heartbroken to be here in South Africa.
If there is a bus that is going to Malawi now, I can travel, I can go, because it's better to go home. Home is the best, and then I love my life. I leave everything because I love my life. If I'm going home, I think I'm safe because it's my country.
Now look at how Africa celebrated when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. His freedom was not just a victory for South Africa, it was a victory for all of Africa. Across the continent, people rejoiced with tears of joy, songs of hope, and hearts full of pride. South Africa's liberation struggle lived in the hearts of Africans everywhere. It was never seen as South Africa's fight alone, but as a shared African dream of freedom, dignity, and justice.
When he got to Lusaka today, Mandela seemed more like a traveling head of state than a freedom fighter. There was Zambian President Kenneth Kaunda treating Mandela as a political equal. There were other African leaders gathered to do the same, men who have already achieved the power blacks in South Africa still seek. And to the beat of African drums, there was PLO chairman Yasser Arafat with the biggest bear hug of all. Mandela later compared his African National Congress to the PLO. Both, he said, are fighting a unique form of colonialism. And there, of course, were Mandela's fellow soldiers in that fight, leaders of the ANC, most of whom he hasn't seen in 30 years, and who have spent that long time living here in exile, keeping the struggle alive. For them, for the children of the ANC, and for the thousands of Zambians celebrating a national holiday in Mandela's honor, his message was optimistic, reflecting the reforms in white-ruled South Africa.
We are on the verge of a breakthrough in our struggle for freedom.
On July 14, 1990, Nelson Mandela visited Kenya. His visit was welcomed with great acclaim and pomp. As the anti-apartheid hero went on a lap at the Nyayo Stadium, the crowds erupted in joyous applause as they honored the man who was then, and even now in death, the most revered man on the continent.
South Africa, what happened to you? Why have you turned against so many of those who once stood by your side in your darkest hour? Your great leader, Nelson Mandela, never forgot the sacrifices made by African nations during the struggle for freedom. When he walked out of prison after 27 years, he did not simply celebrate his own release. He journeyed across Africa to express gratitude to the countries that had helped keep the dream of liberation alive. Tanzania opened its doors to ANC members, fed them, and built schools for children living in exile. Zambia hosted the ANC headquarters and provided a base from which the movement could continue its fight. Zimbabwe, Angola, and Mozambique gave shelter to freedom fighters, trained their soldiers, and paid a terrible price for their support. ANC safe houses in these countries were bombed by the apartheid regime. Lives were lost, families were shattered. The frontline states sacrificed billions of dollars and endured years of instability because they believed that the freedom of South Africa's black majority was worth fighting for.
Equally important, as you know, I have been in prison for 27 years.
Nigeria stood firmly with the liberation movement, leading a boycott of the 1986 Commonwealth Games in protest against apartheid. Ethiopia and Algeria offered support and assistance during the ANC's formative years.
Many countries, many governments, many organizations, many individuals called for my release. Loudest in that call was the government and people of Nigeria. I am here of the government and people of Nigeria. Nigeria has given us a lot of financial and material support. They have assisted us not only in the form of funds, and in that respect, they have been among the most generous donors to our coffers.
Ghana was among the many African nations that never wavered in their solidarity. For 18 days, Mandela traveled across the continent to personally thank these countries. He understood that South Africa's freedom was not won by South Africans alone.
That they have to give back to the needy, to those who need, to the communities. And that's our president. He makes the Sundowns brand bigger. And it is our responsibility from the office and the technical side to carry the same values that he has. It was important for us to come to a school, the Babayara school. It is important for us to support Mandela Day.
You know, what I saw on the day, it's something that I never expected, especially from Ghana. And I thought Mandela Day, it's in South Africa. You know, whenever we're in South Africa, this is what we need to do. What we did here, you know, and the response, you know, it really showed what Mandela means to everyone in Africa, not only in Africa, but in the world. And I'm glad we had an opportunity to be part of it as well. We really enjoyed ourselves.
I was away from home and I thought that, you know, I would never do my 67 minutes. To come to such a big country like Ghana and yet people still recognizing me, it just comes to show how lucky we are as South Africans, you know, to have him as our former president.
Yeah, you can feel, especially with the South African players, that he's the biggest icon maybe in the world. So he's been so special. It's just been a wonderful experience, and you can see the players light up when they talk about him. Especially for us as foreigners, when we ask about him and they talk about him, they can feel the energies.
I think Mandela.
It was carried on the shoulders of countless Africans who shared the burden, the pain, and the hope. That is why it is heartbreaking to see people from some of these very nations facing hostility today. History reminds us that freedom was a collective African victory. The bonds forged in sacrifice, courage, and solidarity should never be forgotten. The Africa that Mandela honored was an Africa united by gratitude, brotherhood, and a belief that the suffering of one nation was the concern of all. Those lessons remain as important today as they were then. Please do like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to know the value of Africans to South Africa.